smoky paprika, chili garlic, fresh ginger, and smooth tahini. We're blending flavors and techniques from different corners of the kitchen in one bowl, resulting in one of the best noodle dishes ever tasted. Okay. Big promise. But it's a good noodle dish. Today, we're making smoky chili lime tahini broccoli noodles. We're gonna have charred broccoli, candied cashews, and noodles tossed in a sauce that's doing about 5 different things at once. Let's get into it. Broccoli, cashews, sesame seeds, maple syrup, toasted sesame oil, long noodles of your choice, tahini, soy sauce, lime, chili garlic sauce, fresh ginger, green onions, cilantro, and some spices. All right, let's knock out our prep so the cooking part flows nice and smooth. Starting with our broccoli. We're cutting our broccoli into bite-sized florets. We want to make sizes that will cook quickly, but also have a nice mouthfeel. You know, since we want each bite to include the noodles, the cashews, and the florets, if possible. Toss them into a bowl and set aside. Next, bringing in our limes. For now, we're not going to touch these. They have a job to do, but that's later on in the sauce. With our green onions, we're doing nothing fancy here, just a rough chop. These, along with the fake parsley we're about to show, are simply used for finishing. Ah, and there it is, fake parsley, also known as cilantro. Chop it up and set it aside. Finally, let's not forget our ginger. This guy's also got a job to do later, so we're just gonna keep it close. And for a last bit of prep, we're gonna build a small spice blend. In a little bowl, add smoked paprika, garlic powder, and salt. Give that a good whisk so it's evenly distributed. And now we've got everything staged and we're ready to actually start cooking. Over the stove, we're going to heat a skillet over medium heat. This skillet is extremely large and really I'm just trying to keep the dishes down. Add in some toasted sesame oil and maple syrup. Let it warm together in the pan. Shortly thereafter, in goes the cashews, red pepper flakes, and some black sesame seeds. You're gonna stir constantly here until the cashews are coated and sticky. While completely optional in the recipe, these cashews are doing a lot for us. I'm going to call out, let's say, just 2 of them though. First, you get a great crunch from the cashews against the textures of the soft noodles. It's just one of those things that when you're done eating, you're not looking for something else to kind of satisfy that mouthfeel. Secondly, the cashews are an additional great protein source in this dish. And ultimately, more protein here will leave you feeling more satiated. All right, let's remove the cashews from the dish, set those aside, and then we're moving on to cooking our broccoli. At this point, you may need a touch more oil, and then the broccoli will follow in after. We're gonna let the broccoli sit for about 1 to 2 minutes before even thinking of stirring this. That initial contact time is what gets you those charred edges. If you take your spatula and you start, that's me tossing things around immediately in the pan. Okay, hold on, I'll show it to you again. You do that and you're gonna end up with steamed broccoli. And before you say anything, all of us love steamed broccoli. We're okay with that. But remember, we're going through techniques. We're gonna try something different here. We want the broccoli to come out a bit crunchy, a bit charred. So we don't wanna start slapping it around the place. Trust me, it's worth it. We have to evolve in our cooking. We can't just be the same cooks we were yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Cook the broccoli for about 6 to 8 minutes total. Again, stirring occasionally until tender and with those charred edges. Once our broccoli is just about finished, maybe the last 2 minutes, sprinkle in the seasonings, stir it to coat, and then remove it just after about a minute and set aside. Quick note, if you have 2 burners, then you could be cooking your noodles already and doing this other stuff kind of next to it, you know, in the background. But I'm working with 1 burner. So we're doing this 1 step at a time, which if you're a novice, this is the way to go. If you're not a novice and you just like a little bit more peace in the kitchen, sort of like myself, this is also the way to go. All right, so we're gonna bring a separate pot of water to a boil. Then simply add our noodles. Don't forget to stir them along once they start to soften. This way, the noodles don't stick together. I went with fettuccine for my noodles. You could swap for any long noodles that you prefer or you just have available. Spaghetti, angel hair, bucatini, calomini. That last one is definitely not a noodle. I just wanted to keep going. Whatever noodle you choose, don't forget to cook to the package instructions and to pull out just a little bit of water. I would say probably like a cup of pasta water, because reserved pasta water is gonna go a long way in a recipe like this. While that's going, let's build our sauce. In a bowl, let's whisk together tahini, soy sauce, lime zest, lime juice, maple syrup, chili garlic sauce, ginger, smoked paprika, and black pepper. So tahini straight out the jar can be a little thick and stubborn, so we're going to loosen it up, especially because what we're going for is a pasta sauce, not a condiment. So, as I mentioned before, that pasta water is our go-to. Pasta water has starch in it, and starch is going to help the noodles cling to the sauce, or I should say help the sauce cling to the noodles. Now we're ready to add the hot drained noodles directly into our original skillet. From there, we're gonna add in our sauce and toss to coat, keeping some of that reserved pasta water available if we need to make this a bit more creamy. Fold in the charred broccoli and candied cashews, and you'll toss once more. I did that, but it wasn't on camera. So it's supposed to look a little like this. A bowl of noodles topped with green onions, sesame seeds, cilantro, and even some lime wedges available to help you adjust the taste. And that's it. Smoky, charred, creamy, a little sweet, and a little spicy. As I mentioned before, this dish is going in multiple directions, and somehow every single one of them work together. You can find this full recipe linked in the description, or you can head right on over to my website, makeitdairyfree.com. Thank you so much for watching. You're amazing. I love you. One more thing. Believe in good. Peace.